So what we got coming up for you? Well, firstly, I'm just going to give you, as promised, a little bit more news about a partnership that we've got. We're quite excited about.
Yep.
Another one.
Yes. And then we're going to show the second clip of Max and Lindsay's journey from zero to hero deer stalking.
Part 2.
Part 2.
And I'm just going to explain why I'm standing here in a brand new jacket. Basically, why am I wearing this? I'm actually doing a bit of review on jackets for Shooting Times and Country magazine, so over the last sort of week or so, and it was very fortunate, well, probably one of the fortunate occasions when we had an horrendous storm came again. It was peeing it down. I hate going out in the rain. As everybody knows, I make a lot of reference to it.
I actually managed to do that.
Fortunately, didn't have any clients, but Muggins here was out in the rain, so these jackets really did get a good test. This is a Sitka Gear, nice jacket actually. So if you want to find out what I think about it, you need to buy yourself good kind of soft shell feel. But I tell you what, it's a really lightweight jacket, and you think, no, it's not going to be very warm, but actually it's real comfortable.
It keeps you warm from the inside.
Yeah, there's like a windproof thing in it. Anyway, I'm not going to give any more away. You need to buy Shooting Times if you want to see what I think about the jackets.
Nice plug, mate, nice plug.
There you go. Click then.
Yeah, so here we have part 2 of Alex and...
No.
Sorry,
Max and Lindsay.
Max and Lindsay's journey.
You're good on names, aren't you?
No.
Nearly as good as me.
Mate.
Yeah.
So obviously, on that, guys, obviously we quite a lot of interest on the first clip. We guys try to really interested in what we do for the introduction to stalking courses. So if you feel that's for you, get in touch and we'll get you out there. And basically, you can have basically the exact same experience as what these two guys have just had.
Yeah, I mean, it's a taster really, isn't it? That's what I really started this whole operation for. South Asia Stalking primarily, I formed that to introduce new people to the sport who either had never done it before or they had a bit of a dabble and sort of wanted to continue on the journey. And that's been incredibly popular. I'm probably even more popular now.
And from our point of view as well, it's sort of getting new people into the sport.
Yeah, that's what we're all about.
And to be fair, mate, it's continuing business for us as well.
It's the future. It's the future. We want to put people on the right road, give them the right information. What they do after that is a bit like a driving test. You pass a driving test, you need to do it correctly. We'll put you on the right road, and then away you go. And all these people for the last 20 odd years, most are coming back, even now. So yeah, we're real keen on that.
So here we go, guys. Enjoy.
Right, okay, I can just see the deer there now. Yeah. So what we're going to do is you never know 100% it's dead. I'm pretty sure it is because the shot sounded good. So we're come about 30, 40 yards into the field. It's hard to describe, but there's a real solid kind of crack. That generally indicates a good heart-lung shot. If it gets a bit ploppy or something, then it can indicate it's a bit back. So it sounded good. I've looked at it with the glasses. She's as keen as mustard. She wants to go and find it, although she doesn't know that we can see it. It's not moving. I've looked at it through the binoculars. So what we do now is we approach it into the wind from behind, and then we need to be prepared to take a second shot if it runs. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be, but if that happens, I'll take the gun off you. Okay. Not if there's any other reason, because I'm just quicker. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it's dead, so we'll go nice and slowly forward. I'm going to let her go now. Yeah. What she'll do is she'll go, and if there's any life left in that deer, then it's going to jump up and she'll just pull it down. So I'm pretty sure it's safe. So we do a blink reaction test. That's just to confirm it's dead, but you can see it's dead. So that's a nice, clean go. How was that?
Amazing.
Bit emotional.
Yeah, but I feel like really, really proud.
Yeah, so you should.
Really.
Good start. So there you go. That's your first row. They're beautiful, aren't they? So what we're doing now is we've examined the deer, so everything's good about the deer, looking for ticks, any signs of lumps or bumps, anything that looks, on the outwardly looks as though there's something wrong. But we've got a good healthy deer, close of the hooves, foot and mouth indicator. These are actually quite long and pointed. You often get that because they're on soft ground, so it doesn't kind of wear down a little bit. Not a problem, but they're very clean. So that's potentially foot and mouth. Back legs were clean. We've looked at the eyes, we've looked at the mouth. So we've got, to all intents and purposes, very healthy. She's quite an old doe, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, quite.
The greyness and
Yeah, size of the animal, just the sort of shape, and she's head, the greyness around there. But yeah, she's a sort of mature, just gone beyond what I would say, sort of starting into old age, like myself. So what happens now is all the blood drains down into chest cavity, and then we do a bleed, a thoracic bleed, so it lets the blood out, and that assists the cooling process. The reason we want to do that is to stop bacterial growth, so we're maintaining the integrity of the carcass going into the food chain or going to be eaten by somebody or other, whether that be via the dealer or whether that be us. So we've got a vested interest in making sure that's all nice and clean, so everything's healthy. And what we'll do then is we'll open the carcass up, and then I'll examine the internal organs just to check for any notifiable diseases. Again, make sure that everything's okay. And we've got a temperature it's probably about 5 or 6 degrees here, so it's perfect. And we've got a bit of a wind blowing into us, so it's a bit like a chiller.
Yeah.
It's just cooling down, so everything's perfect for maintaining venison quality. Right, just watch those knives. But what we're going to, the thing now is, because we've growled it this way, it's fully eviscerated and opened up. What we don't want to do is drag or get that carcass in contamination, potentially contaminate the carcass. So Apex Predator row sack, detachable, cleanable liner. So I'm going to drop it straight in here, so that deer will not touch the floor now.
Okay.
It's going to go into the sack. I'm going to walk back to the house, into the larder, just clean it off, and then into the chiller. So if you can, I'm just going to put this in. If you can just free off one of those hooks first, and then get right, just come clean into there. Get that last. Okay, so we've got there's a row just on the edge of the bank in there. You see where the big tree comes down in forks? Yep. Just underneath the bottom forks. If you just get set up on that fork in the tree, just put the hand on there to stabilise the sticks. This mist coming in. Quite tricky to spot that. At the moment it's backside to us. This wind's shifting, so what are you seeing? Can you see it? Arse to us?
Can't really see.
Okay. It's just starting.
Okay, yeah.
Got it right. It's just starting to. It's got that wind. It's just starting to move across the bank. And just track it if you can.
Yeah.
If it pauses, so have a look at that. It's wrong position. Need it to turn. Right, it's just heading underneath that gorse. Can you still see that where that boom is on the banking?
I lost it for yeah, I got it.
Bottom left.
Yeah.
Again, it's wrong position. Just track it as it's moving left again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, she's
gone.
She's gone.
That's the problem with that is the wind's sucking up the valley.
One behind there.
I mean, it should be blowing down there.
Yeah.
Because we've come up into the wind the whole way. That's just bad luck.
Yeah.
What it's doing is it's kind of swirling here, and she was settled there quite easy. We'd have had plenty of time on that because she was feeding on that banking, but you can feel it.
Yeah.
It's just sucking into this, kind of creating a little bit of a vortex. So you see how sharp they are.
Yeah.
See straight away when she's
It's just
blocked.
windy. Well, she just picked up pace and completely just went.
Not panicking, but she's.
Yeah.
That's unlucky, that actually. Just double check safety catch.
Yep.
Okay. That's stalking.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
How's the heart? You look quite stable though. On the shot.
I'm stable now.
Yeah, you weren't then.
And when I could find her, I felt nice and set. It's like I could track her.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like I can see the arse with my eyes, and then you go to the scope and I lose her, and there's that little haze of water mist almost.
To be honest, this is about the worst conditions for optics. When you've got good quality optics and you've got water and you've got this kind of mist, atmosphere is heavy. Actually, that accentuates the mist.
Yeah.
So you can see better with the naked eye in some respects than you can looking through a scope. So that's the point. Again, on a clear day, that would have stood out like a Belisha beacon.
Yeah.
And we'd have loads of if the wind hadn't done what it did, we'd have loads of time. But it's a cracking spot across the valley. What I didn't tell you was that had you shot that, you're going, down
Down
there, over there, up there, and bringing it back, because I'm fed up of doing it.
Mate, considering we walked through that valley, I would have quite happily walked across there and picked it up. Like.
Right, so we're at breakfast time now. So we've seen plenty of deer anyway.
Yeah, oh, we saw a lot.
Just unlucky.
Just bad luck each time.
But that's the beauty of stalking.
My heart's just going. Like, I think to be honest, like now my body's calming down, but my head's like, what have you done if you go different? What have you done if you've done that? And it's like,
You can't
you know,
really.
you can't,
You
like,
can't really.
Well, the first lot we ever ran into that we saw, she had us pegged.
Yeah.
In the time it was taking me to get my rifle off, she was gone.
Sometimes, as I said to you when we were doing the range, more often than not, 95% of the time, we've got the deer before they've got us, and we've got time like that. We've got time to set up, we've got time to move, get a gap in the trees, get a clear shot. Then the wind changes and causes an issue. The problem with that was it was flat calm there on that corner.
Yeah.
So we're coming down through kind of bracken and everything, and there were 3 deer there. The one that we were trying to set up on, the one on the left, which was laid down, we were just going to wait for that to stand because we've got a nice backstop. But what you probably didn't see is that one that spooked, that one that got us, came up from the lip closer to us, straight up, and she's kind of looking straight at us.
Yeah.
So she goes and takes the other two with her.
Yeah.
And then the other two that we're getting into, which we would have got, the pigeons come clattering out the tree right at the wrong moment. Deer look up, see pigeons and go.
And just go.
So that's just bad luck this morning.
Yeah.
So it's any one of those deer, given an even keel, we would have got a shot. But I think that's the beauty of stalking.
That was, no matter what that was brilliant. Because as well, like that is very much, obviously last night doing the sitting, I really enjoyed that. Because you're
You've got a deer over the valley.
Yeah, I got a deer over the valley watching it. But then with here, like, just the actual like constant having to think about where you're putting your feet at the same time, having to scramble, having to move around. It brings that almost action movie kind of element to it as well.
To me, this is what I call proper stalking. This is in the wood, careful, look a lot, move a little, look a lot. And I'm surprised actually we didn't see more deer on the banking as we came up, because this is a cracking, and it's sheltered in here.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of it's quite damp now, so we're not making a lot of noise on the bracken. We've got the river in the bottom, so that kind of covers our noise a bit. But I think it's just this coolish kind of damp weather. And as I said to you earlier on, they tend to push into cover.
Yeah.
And get hunkered down out of it and wait for a bit better weather.
Yeah.
They're a bit fickle though. They're short coats, thin coated. Reds are less bothered by it. They'll stand in all sorts of rubbish.
Yeah. Well, they stand up on the high heath.
Yeah, generally raw. If it's not so good, they tend to think, oh, sod that, I'm going to get tucked under the warm somewhere.
Yeah.
Right, so double check your safety. Put the rifle on your shoulder.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we're going back with the same number of bullets that we came with.
Yep.
Okay, so Lindsay and Max, welcome to Outfitters Tales.
Hi.
Right, we're kind of fascinated by this because for a lot of years now, I've wanted to sort of get more sort of people involved in stalking, particularly ladies and particularly younger people. So I was quite interested talking to you because you met me at the game fair, Scottish Game Fair this year, because I was ambassador for the Scottish Game Fair and did a little bit of a presentation on this very theme about introducing ladies to the sport, getting more people involved and sort of spreading the net. So it's kind of a bit of a personal mission of mine to do that. So I was really interested when, having had the conversation, that you've now come along.
Yes.
Jiggled a couple of kids around and jobs and everything, so it's taken you a while to get here. So from somebody that's not done any shooting or stalking before, what was Lindsay first, what was the interest? At what point did you think you fancied having a go at stalking?
So I'm originally from the east end of Glasgow, which is really built up, and for whatever reason I've always wanted to be just more out in nature. And I think that's sort of typical girliness of like loving animals. And as I got a bit older and got into what naturally Scottish people do, is like you get out in the hills and you actually see deer. Yeah. And every now and again, if you're in the right Highland Trail, you would have come across stalkers who've done a kill, and I would just ask them questions.
So it's really from meeting a stalker.
So it was just been like sort of out about, and then that connection of like being out in the wilderness, and then I've done things like fishing. So like, although it's not the same idea, it is hunting broadly. It's hunting to some kind of aspect, and it's just that sort of evolution of can you mix being out in nature, which is something you naturally do anyway, with something else?
So let's just say then, take it back. So from that little bit of a spark, bit of an
Yeah.
interest, how long has it taken you to actually physically get to out with me with a rifle over the last couple of days?
So I would have started hill walking when I was in my early 20s.
Don't give any dates away. We don't want to.
No. And then a few years after that, round about COVID, I met Max, and Max has got the same sort of interests that I do. So then I think the two of us coming together escalated everything.
Right.
So then we started sort of looking into it, and if you're not connected, it's really difficult to get a foot in. And then strangely enough, the year before we went to the game fair, by pure coincidence, we found your website and thought, we need to chase that up at some point. And then it kind of just, like you say, like with work and with kids and with other hobbies, it just goes out your head.
Yeah.
And then we were at the game fair, which we've done a couple of years before. We've seen the list of talkers, and I thought, that's that website. Like, we are going to that talk. And that year that we went to the game fair, the weather was horrendous.
Yeah.
It was torrential rain.
Yeah.
Everybody was in all the tents. And then as soon as we met you guys, you were just exactly what you were looking for. You were so warm, so welcoming, not judgmental in any way, shape or form. And I think the minute that we said we were complete and utter novices, that sort of sent a spark in you of like, this is what I want. And it was just perfect.
Yeah, I didn't pay you to say that, by the way, did I?
No, not at all. I'm not.
That's the first question. The one thing I picked up, I think it was maybe talking to you, Max, one thing I picked up on, I think something you said to me was that some years ago, I think you said you'd approached Basque and sort of had the broad conversation about getting into it.
At one point we went to, so it was either the year before we met you or the year before that we went again to the game fair.
It was the very first time.
Very first time we ever went, and there was the Basque stall. And again, from my perspective, I've been wanting to get into it for a very long time. It was just that we met Lindsay and kind of had that kindred spirit kind of thing of both wanting to get involved. And I'm probably a little bit more in terms of like looking on Instagram and looking onto and YouTube.
You'd been a bit more proactive.
Yeah, I'm a bit more
And being
proactive.
younger.
I'm being younger, so I'm on social media a little bit more, and she's old when it comes to social media. And doing all of that and reading the journals and reading shooting time, stuff like that, it was like, okay, BASC, place to go. So I went, and there was a guy there who was seemed to be a bit of a liaison for everyone. He was talking about shooting with people, seemed to know quite a few of the guys who were showing up to get stuff like measured and stuff like that.
Trophy measured, yeah.
And started asking him about the best way to get into it. And the thing he told me was that it was very much you need to get in contact with all these people, you need to go offer to be a beater, offer to do all of that. Maybe one day you'll get a chance at like shooting. And I was like, the one thing for us was very much like, I'm not as interested in the wildfowl or like that kind of side. For us, a big one we wanted to do was get into stalking. And so it gave us an idea. We managed to get out and help on a beat, but we never still had that way in.
Yeah.
And then that again, through doing things like Instagram, we found you guys. Were thinking, oh, should we do it? Should we do it? Came, talked to you, and went, sod it. If we're going to do it, we need to do it now. And
it's interesting because one of the reasons that we're doing this show, as you know, because we've had this conversation, is to try and get the message out there that you can do it. Mm-hmm. It's fairly easy to come and have a go, have a taster. I know you've been here for like a couple of days, but people can just come down for like half a day or whatever. So it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a massive, 2-day thing. Just to taste and just have a couple of shots on the range and feel if you want to take it further. So for what you're saying, then the social media aspect and it's the way to go now. Yeah. Appears to be. So for us to connect and try and get, because at the end of the day, I'm passionate about what I do. You'll pick that up. Passionate about deer management, and we want to spread that word and get more people in the sport. Because if we don't get people coming into deer stalking and get the connect between food, field to fork, where your food comes from, which is what I know you're really passionate about. Definitely. So what you're saying is this medium appears to be the best way. So what we putting things like this on to show, a young couple, in my terms, I'm a dinosaur,
And I didn't pay you to say that.
Yeah. But so we're obviously going down the right road, is what you're saying, because people research that. That's what people. Social media now is what young folk look at.
Yeah.
And they see things like this and they think, well, actually, yeah, we can do that. It doesn't have to be with us. There are other people doing it. There, other brands are available.
Yeah.
Not as good as us, but they are there.
I think I'll say as well as young people, I don't know if it's just my opinion or if it is the way it is, but it seems in Scotland, deer stalking seems to be a more upper class thing.
Yeah.
So straight away, if you're not from that class and that lifestyle, you feel really intimidated. And what me and Max really loved about you guys is you were just so down to earth and so friendly. And I think if more people who do deer stalking had that connect with other people in other groups, they'd find so much more interest.
You're right. There's two things I'll pick up on there. First thing, an awful lot of people feel that. Mm-hmm. An awful lot of people. That just goes, days gone by when the landed gentry driving up from London and going onto the estate to shoot a stag and all the rest of it. And that still happens. There's nothing wrong with that because that brings money into the economy. But it's so much more than that. There's so much more available now. Lowland stalking, roe deer stalking and everything. So I think the two things I pick up from what you said there is, firstly, as an industry, as a stalking community, talking me now, we need to do more. We need to be a bit more. And we try to do that. We're not interested in any of that. But a lot of other people out there maybe ought to take our lead a bit and get a bit more proactive.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm going to talk to a school up in Glasgow, top side of Glasgow, who approached me because they've got a number of people there that are quite interested in forestry, wildlife management, stalking, gamekeeping. So I'm actually going to talk to them in the school, which is, I really want to do that. I'm really keen to do that. So the message is getting out. So we're making inroads.
I can speak from experience saying, I went to the University of Glasgow, I did my zoology degree, been involved. I was quite lucky to grow up relatively in the countryside, in a quite a large town, but very easy access to the countryside. There are a lot of people that I've met through my life who would love a chance at stuff like this, but the thing that was putting that barrier in front of them was that idea that hunting is for people with a 6 to 7 figure income. It's not, and that was a thing that I think that was what finally gave us the kick in the pants, because looking online and looking at social media, and you talk about the importance of it, but coming to the game fair and talking with you guys, because again, go to the game fair, you see all these people in the tweed coats with everything on, but then you also meet a lot of people that were just as happy to talk with me and you as they were to talk with anyone else, because it can look like that from the outside, but I think social media and what you guys are doing has given into this is what it's actually like, this is what you think it's like, but if you just go and talk to these people and just try and have these inroads in, you'll be able to find that you can love it and you can go for it and give it a try. It's good.
It's not. This is what we want. We need to speak to people to find out whether we're doing something right or whether we're doing it wrong, and whether we can change it and what we can do differently. But I mean, if you break it down to its bare bones, if you go and watch a Premiership football match 2 or 3 times in a year, you could come and do an introduction to stalking, or probably less. And if you want to go and have a round of golf or whatever, if golfing's your thing, by the time you start to strip down, going to pay your green fees and all the rest of it, so it's not actually any different to a lot of other, but it's got this perception as being, which is a shame, because it's not. Well, you found out it's not.
Yeah, I think it's just prioritising your hobbies. If you really passionately want to do something, put the other stuff aside and just give it a try. If you don't enjoy it, you can say, I've tried it, I've ticked the box, and move on.
Yeah. Well, right, okay then. So now you've done it. You shot a deer.
Yes.
You were unlucky. You were unlucky. You were unlucky this morning. That's just the way stalking goes, but that's part of the beauty of it. The beauty of stalking is you have to work for it, and you need to, understand fieldcraft, understand nature, the lie of land, and you're taking your deer home with you to practice. Yeah. Chopping it up. Yeah. In a technical term, that's butchery. But you've been dissecting mice, so it's the same sort of thing. Just a bit bigger. Just a bit bigger. And when I remember talking to you on the range up there, and I was talking about concentrating on the range and a paper target, and that when you got out in the field and you actually had a deer in your sight and you pulled the trigger, it would be totally different. I mean, were you thinking about the rifle, or pulling the trigger, or any recoil, or were you just totally focused on the deer?
Focused on what I was
Yeah,
looking at,
and
absolutely.
you probably didn't even feel anything. You just, I don't mean anything in terms of you just taking a life. I mean anything. You weren't worried about the rifle or the recoil or any of that.
No, and
You were focused.
Yeah, like the first time you shoot, because I've done shotguns at Clay's, which I think a lot of people have had, but that's the first time I shot an air rifle was the day before I shot the deer. And you do get that apprehension of like it moving, or like you see like people who'd like say tell horror stories of how they get bruises and stuff like that. It's nothing like that at all. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But then when you're out in the field, like you say, you don't feel that gun at all. It's
You know,
just you and the deer and nothing in between.
Yeah, you focused on it. Aren't you?
Yeah.
Was there any hesitation or thought about not pulling the trigger?
When not so much hesitation for shooting it. There was hesitation when I wasn't 100% sure what I was looking at. I wanted to
Yeah, because
know
just to
what I was
explain, we were
doing.
looking for the light, and that's absolutely 100%. As I said to you up there, I said at the end of the day, if you want to pull the trigger, you pull the trigger. If you don't want to pull the trigger, don't pull it. But only you know what you're seeing.
Yeah, I was happy. with what
You
I
just
did.
let the light come up a little bit, and then
job
done. So this morning, unlucky. At the last push really, when we kind of come up the glen, the weather was horrible, the mist was horrible, visibility was crap, so it was horrible conditions really. It just wasn't meant to be for you today. No. But what was can you remember the feeling when you first got a deer in your crosshairs?
I can't describe, honestly, that level of adrenaline and just looking at something and being like, oh my God, this is happening. And again, that we talked about it a couple of times, just a completely different appreciation for the animal.
Yeah.
Because we do walks, we like walking, and we tend to go off the beaten path and explore. And we've come across deer by accident when we do that. You come across one, you might follow a trail, putting in all that effort to get there and follow it, and then watching it with the mentality of finding a point at which it stops with that perfect broadside. I can't honestly describe how amazing that felt. Mm. And I walked away without one today, but we joked about it. I'm jealous, but I'm not disappointed. Mm. I would come back and do this 100 times over and fail again 100 times, and if it was like half like that, I feel great.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm working on that business model, because if I get that business model right, you just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. Exactly. You don't shoot a deer, so we just keep teasing you until you. I'm only joking. No, that's good. So that's it now. Will you? That's your taster. You've shot a deer. You've nearly shot a deer. We've fired the rifle, so you're kind of all good to go now. Is this something that you will pursue? Will you maybe look at going down the firearm certificate route yourselves, or come back, or what? I'm putting you on the spot a bit, because
I think all of the above. Like even last night, before Max was out, obviously this morning, he's already talking about his DS1. Like he's looking at the paperwork and everything. And just given how busy our lives are, we probably would ideally like to both do it. I think it would be staggered. Maybe Max will do his first, and then I would eventually do mine. But I think even just coming up for a day or a half day, like I say, definitely something.
You can do that now, because you've done all the training. We've done the range stuff with the rifle. So really, when you come now, we just go for a stalk. Yeah. So you say a couple of shots with the rifle just to re-get your own confidence in it. Just to, not so much just a couple of shots really, just to make sure everything's all right. Yeah. And then straight out stalking. So you're good to go. And yes, if you're going to go down the firearm certificate route, DSC level 1 is the next step. But I would, if you're doing it, I mean, it's not up to me, but if you're doing it, I would do it together. I wouldn't stagger it. I would just do it together. But that's your call. But we do it here, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Do you know? It's too early for you, but my next one's Saturday here.
Oh, really?
But anyway, that's down the road. That's down the road. No, you need a bit of study for that. Well, that's great. No, so basically, really from what you're saying, it sort of lived up to expectations.
Lived up and exceeded. Surpassed. Okay. Definitely surpassed. And I'd say anyone who's watching this who is of that mentality of like the same way me and you were of, I've watched it on YouTube, I've done it on this, should I do it, just do it. Even if you can't do it exactly to the way you want to do it, you can't do it exactly to your preference, because we'd all love to spend a week down there doing it, so I'm nearly guaranteeing myself a deer. Just do it. And because you will regret not doing it, but you will never regret coming out. Yeah. I think.
Lovely. Well, thanks for taking the time, and I'll sum this up with just a couple of words, which it should come with a government health warning, because I've been doing this now for over 20 years, and every single person that has been here, and there are thousands on an introduction to stalking course, except for one person who wasn't going to do it, and there's a reason for that, which I'll explain. They've all taken it further. And I've got guys here now, we've got a lot of syndicate guys out, and they're all guys, and one or two girls that came here, and they're now back stalking with me. My business partner started out on a journey like you have about 20 years ago. He's now my business partner.
Yeah.
So it's a bit addictive.
Yeah.
Because once you've done it, and I was the same. Once you've done it, you'll always be thinking, right, you'll be angling for your next.
When's the next one?
When can we, when can we do it again? And you'll be looking forward to it. So that's great. Well, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for
Thank you for
having
having
us.
us.
And enjoy your venison.
We will.
Hey guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and well, they were quite lucky, weren't they?
Lindsay was very lucky, which I'm quite pleased about, because Max had done a little bit with air rifles. I was keen to get ladies involved. She loved it. She's coming back, actually. We're going to follow up on that with Lindsay. In fact, Kirk, good friend of mine, Kirk Norbury, photographer, project manager, Country Sports Scotland, and I are doing a bit of work together on a film that's
You go,
coming.
Kirk, a nice plug for you.
Nice plug, Kurt, yeah. We've got a film coming up about sort of roebucks, but also what we want to do is get Lindsay on that and just continue her journey on some nice roebuck stalking. So she's going to come down, I think, in June. So there'll be a sequel. There'll be a follow-up.
Nice one.
Yeah, it's good. Enjoyed doing that. I just want to mention knives. You're a good knife sharpener. We just had a conversation about this. James Ferry, I'd been away. I've been testing this knife for probably about 12 months, and we've been away, haven't we, last fortnight or whatever, and I didn't take any kit down, and you didn't have your usual kit with you, so it really got a bit hammered. So it's just been away.
I did have my kit with me. You just didn't ask me to.
Well, I didn't let you near it. I thought he can do it. You were busy. So it's been away for its 500 day service. One of the things about a custom knife is that nearly all of the guys offer a service that if your knife gets beyond a point, I don't know, this is your area, not mine, but I'm a great believer in nipping up and keeping a knife, keep an edge on a knife.
Maintaining the edge.
But if you sometimes you can't, and literally this had done about 8 fallow, I don't know, 15 odd Chinese water deer and 3 or 4 muntjac, and not been touched. It was ready for a bit of attention, and it was getting to the point where it wanted attention.
It was just beyond the point where you could get it back with a steel.
And to be fair, you were doing everybody else's flipping knives, all the lot down there. You seem to be getting everybody else.
I'm going to start charging for that.
Well, you want to do, because you flipping spent about half an hour at the back of the van one day sharpening knives. So anyway, James said nip it back. That's the whole point of the thing. So we're getting onto the 12-month point for this. I don't know how many deer this has done, but it's done a lot. But anyway, it's just been back for a little nip up. So next day delivery, done and back. So that's good service. So that's a plug for James. I hope he does that for everyone.
To be fair, I think most of the custom knife guys do it.
They do. Yeah, they do. And it's a useful thing if you haven't got the wherewithal or the skill to let them do it. It's their job.
And it's also a good reason for justifying the prices of the knives. Obviously,
yeah,
high quality steel, high quality craftsmanship, and obviously I've got my favourites.
Yeah, we both have. Yeah,
but yeah, that's where the money goes. To be fair, you pay what you get for. Or you
get what you pay for.
Yeah, that's what exactly.
You've been on the beer?
Buy cheap, buy twice.
You've been on the beer?
No.
Okay, it's just beer.
Buy one, cry once.
Give all the name, quit while you're ahead. But remember to turn the phones off. So I think, really... No, sorry, I have not announced. We are going to be working with Highland Outdoors, so they've come on board, which is great. Really excited about that. One of the big distributors, one of the big players. So there'll be some new rifles coming for me shortly to review, test, use, abuse, if you like, just to see what I feel about that. And they're rifle breeds that I've never handled before, nor have I seen in the field. So this is quite exciting. Used lots and lots of rifles, been out with lots and lots of rifles with folk, but not with this particular model or this make. So that'll be interesting, but I'm not going to say any more about that. And you will also be getting a rifle for
auction exploits, yes.
So great to be working with Highland Outdoors. So as I always say,
my first freebie.
It's not
free.
It's not free. You're going to have to work for it.
Yeah.
And test it. It's starting to rain now again. So, yeah, keep liking, keep subscribing. Thanks for watching. Comments are great. Please keep them coming. And we're onwards and upwards, really, now.
Onwards and upwards, yeah. All ahead, full steam ahead.
Full steam ahead, yeah. That's a bit of a nautical navy thing, isn't it?
Right. Is that all from you?
Watch this space.
That's all from him as well. He's missed the catchphrase.
And it's good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
And watch this space.
Cheers.
Cheers.